Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be getting the Platinum Trophy for Assassin's Creed Shadows. This will be my 26th Platinum Trophy and my second in the Assassin's Creed franchise. I hope you end up liking this video as it took a lot of time to make. If you do, please press the like button to show your support and subscribe if you want to see more trophy hunting content. And now let's get into the video. I chose normal difficulty, cannon mode off, although that doesn't affect any trophies, and I turned off guided exploration mode. Now you can play with it on, you just need to turn it off once so that you can get the scouting trophy. And the game starts on March 8th. I don't know why they chose to launch this game on March 20th, and I'm really sad that they had those 12 days of delays, but we're here now. We then cut forward a couple, like maybe 10 years, I don't know, I forget the time gap, but we're now playing as Diogo, who has taken the name of Yasuke. He is now a samurai and he is massacring a village of innocents with his friends. Although, to be fair, we only ever see him kill the people fighting back. Now, the enemies we are fighting here, these are Egan Shinobi. That will be important later. And by finishing this fight, we execute this man and pop the first trophy.
A death samurai perform your first finishers. Yes, okay.
We now see our second of 4 times seeing this panning shot, as we're now going to be playing as the Egan Shinobi named Naue, probably also saying that wrong. We're now given our hidden blade so we can do assassinations. We're also sent to retrieve this box. I kind of completely forget what was in the box, but here we get our second trophy.
Oh.
On our journey to retrieve the box, we've been doing a lot of assassinations without getting caught. So right here we pop our third trophy.
Unseen. 5 assassinations in a row without being noticed.
I then kill this guy to get our box and just have to escape the castle, which went off pretty easily until I got jumped in the forest by a group of 12 people who are going to be the main story targets for this game. Okay, and now the guys on the horse kill our dad for extra incentive to hunt them down. And we get our title card, with that, the prologue trophy.
Prologue.
We then wake up being nursed back to health by these monks. We also passed out and had a flashback sequence, but I didn't include that here. We then learn art and Sumi-e this Tanuki, and we'll need that later for a trophy. We then do our first of 22 Kujikiri. The first 4 you do have flashbacks attached to them, and then the other ones are just the meditation minigame. I then learn of a very interesting feature in this game, how we no longer have the eagle we call in. Instead, we zoom in and items of importance for quests are marked with blue, loot is marked with gold, and then other like important chests or some not story targets but still targets inside of castles are marked in white. I prefer having the eagle flight, but this is definitely not as bad as I thought it was when I originally found out we didn't have an eagle. I then build the Kakarega for the story and adopt a boar for a trophy. I then officially unlock the hideout, unlocking another trophy. I then go to the objectives board, seeing the guy I killed, and pick my next quest. I then scout my next objective for the trophy that you can miss if you turn on guided exploration mode. Now you can turn on guided exploration mode and play the rest of the story that way, but I decided to play the story with it off. I know I said I wouldn't talk about them until we got all 22, but I did another Kujikiri, and then inside of the reflection, I did a Kujikiri. I've entered an old Kofun. I then got two trophies. This, which is for swinging from one grappling hook to another, and this, which is from swinging from a grappling hook into a leap of faith. Then I got Kofun Raider for completing a Kofun. I then get the Warrior Monk trophy, which is for meeting Yaya. The trophy is for meeting instead of recruiting because if you say the wrong things, you could get some of the characters killed or they just don't want to work with you anymore. So that's why each of the potential recruits, their trophy is only for meeting them, which is a lot easier for us because then all we have to do is meet them, and most of that happens throughout the story. I then assassinate this guy through a door for another trophy. I then perform a roll landing for a trophy.
Try me.
I then kill my
Actually,
second
push.
story target.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I then check behind the waterfall at the hideout and I find a trophy. 2 hours later, I pounce on my third story target, and she was kind enough as to give me a legendary Tanto, which means I can now equip a legendary gear in all slots for the better than a bucket trophy. Okay, major spoilers. I'm gonna give you like a couple seconds to skip ahead. I've put a timestamp on screen. That's when we stopped doing the spoilers. I just felt that this was important to mention, but obviously skip past it if you don't want spoilers for the game. Okay, so Lord Oda Nobunaga, I'm probably definitely saying that wrong, is revealed to be the guy on the horse who Naoe thinks will be the person who has the box. But it's found out after we kill him that we were lied to by Lord Mitsuhide, who was the one who told us that he was the bad guy, and that Mitsuhide is actually one of the members of the main bad guys. And as you see here, here's where we meet Yasuke. And so we kill Oda, Johnny Oda. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name again. And something I didn't mention, when Yasuke was doing his massacres, he was told by one of the things to like trust a girl with the hidden blade, and so he's for some reason just believing in that. And so now later, Yasuke will try to find Naoe so that they can continue and move on to Act 2 of the story. Okay, no more spoilers now. Okay, welcome back. If you skipped the spoilers, and welcome still being with us. The next part of the game has us playing as Yasuke as we try to find Naoe. And the Act 1 trophy pops when we're done playing as Yasuke. And now for Act 2, we have both characters we can play as. Both of them have their own trophies and side content. So it's time for our characters to bond over all the past bad things they've done to each other and each other's families, and move on to hunt the remaining 9 members of the Shinbakufu. I'm also saying that wrong, I bet. I then try to perform a leap of faith as Yasuke and fail miserably, giving me the leap of fail trophy. I then block an arrow as Yasuke, getting the Master Samurai trophy. We now get our next trophy for meeting Ganojo. He will be important later. I then escaped combat using shallow water and a breathing reed for another trophy. Then, following the story, I would finish the Twisted Tree objective board for another trophy. And then I would eliminate my fourth main story target. It was now day 2. I don't know why I'm being so dramatic about this. It's just the day before this, which was the first 10 minutes of the video so far, I played Shadows for 14 hours, nearly 15 hours. And I would start off day 2 by engraving a weapon, getting the Make It Personal trophy. We then learn the kata exercise, but we won't actually get to do it for a trophy until much later, because this was inside of a flashback, so it won't actually pop the trophy. We then meet the sharpshooter for another trophy. We then steal this guy's dog's food, feel really sad about it, but then when it lures him out so we can assassinate him, all the regret goes away. And with this slightly cheese strat, we're able to eliminate our fifth of the main story targets. And on our way to our next target, we complete our first kata outside of a flashback, so we get the trophy. Okay, it's been like 2 months. I just stopped editing the video because I got sick and I just never got back to doing it. But 2 months later, I'm back to continue editing. Also, meaning I guess including spoilers isn't exactly the most important part now, considering the game's 2 months old now. But this video is still gonna be spoiler free. So we continue to assassinate our targets, going after our sixth target, I'm pretty sure, if my math is correct, the mourner. But we end up saving the mourner instead of assassinating them. Remember how I said he'd be important? We now go to recruit Genejo, which gets us the Build Your League trophy for recruiting our first ally. We then go home and fully upgrade the dojo for a trophy, and then using this fully upgraded dojo, we upgrade Genojo for the front of the pack trophy for fully training an ally. We then climb up this tower to assassinate our next target. I now go and do some of the Naue story quests where we find her assassin's armor. I then distract the same enemy 3 times with shinobi bells for the Just Your Shadow trophy. After firing a warning shot, I shoot an enemy in the knee with an arrow for the Adventurer trophy. I then assassinate my next main story target, the Ox. We now meet Sen Noriku, the tea master, and he gives us the tea room. This is one of 3 things we need in order to fully upgrade our rations for a trophy. Feeling deprived of trophies, I ask my dad where he can find a legendary Teppo, and he Googles it. After finding this legendary Teppo, we get the Limitless trophy, which is for having a legendary item of all gear types. We then head home and place one of the Sumi E's we've collected, getting us the Chase the Morning trophy. I then go to the tournament in Yamato, and either proving how broken Yasuke is or how good at the game I am, I pretty easily dispatch of all 5 enemies in the tournament, with the first and last one giving me the most trouble, despite all these guys being about 4 levels higher than me. But with that, we get the Test Your Might trophy. After finishing the video and realizing I forgot the clip, I go back in time to get the Giant Slayer trophy, which is for assassinating a powerful guardian in one strike. And after performing the most brutal finisher in the game on this poor guy, we meet this guy named Ibuki, getting us the trophy, the Ronin. We also follow this dog. I tried to do this at the start of the story, but because I didn't know the substitute for Eagle Vision in this game, I just presumed it was glitched and I couldn't find it. But we're back following the dog. No, this isn't important to any trophy. No, I don't care. Now we put the dog at home, and later, and by later I mean 3 hours in the next day, we assault our next target with kunai. We now look around in Obama Port for a chef named Hong. He will be important later. And then we meet the Toxin Master Onigiri for another trophy. Dad then leads me to this island, Okushima, which is full of cats. It's a reference to a real island sharing the same name, also full of cats. After that, I assassinate our 10th story target. I then assassinate our first of 4 Yasuke exclusive story targets for his personal quest. I then went to find all 16 food dishes. By finding all of these, you upgrade the amount of rations you can carry. And while doing this, I entered the region of Tamba, which was the last region I hadn't been to, getting me the Pathfinder trophy. I then find the last of the food merchants, getting me the trophy for fully upgrading my rations. But didn't I say earlier that there were 3 things I needed to fully upgrade my rations? This was only 2. Well, yes, through the 60 hours of footage I had to edit, I lost wherever I got the 3rd item because I thought you got it for completing the Iron Hand Guild, but it turns out you get it from completing a certain member of the Iron Hand Guild, and I just have no idea of when I would have killed them, so I'm just not going to look for it. But yeah, we got the trophy. Talking to all of those vendors should have gotten me the collector trophy because upgrading the rations capacity is a collection, but for some reason I got it after returning for Hong, not after I first completed the collection. I then assassinate our second last story target in a genuinely really cool fight where you switch between both playable characters. We were far past Act 2, but I had realized the trophy hadn't popped yet, so I googled what you actually had to do to get the trophy, and I found out there was a side quest that we unlocked near the end of Act 2, which should have been the only thing we were missing to get the trophy, and sure enough, it was. I would then go and assassinate our last story target, but instead of assassinating them, we would actually spare them because they gave us the information of what we wanted. But this is the end of Act 3 and the end of the 12 main story targets, but for some reason the trophies for those didn't pop until a lot later. We then meet a young shinobi named Yagoro, getting us the Eager Assassin trophy. Seasons then cycle and we get the Death Blossom trophy, which was a trophy for defeating all 12 of the main story targets. I don't know why it only popped now, and I still at this point didn't know where our Act 3 trophy was. Then going to assassinate the second Yasuke exclusive target, I kick this guy off a cliff, getting the This is Japan Actually trophy. I then kill my second Yasuke target and spoil the surprise on the next one, but end up sparing her because she promises to lead me to the 4th target. I then assassinate the last of the 4 Yasuke exclusive story targets. And with that, we roll the credits on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I had finished the story, but there was still 11 hours over the course of 5 days left until I would get the Platinum Trophy. But lucky for you, with the power of editing, I can condense that into a few minutes. Before starting up the cleanup phase of this Platinum, I would get the Epilogue Trophy, which is for finishing the epilogue. My next trophy would be Final Hearing, for sheathing my weapon after an enemy died of bleed. Then, kind of like how the Death Blossom trophy popped, I got the trophy for completing Act 3 when I was switching seasons. I don't know why this is, I'm just glad I have it. I would then do my first of 5 legendary Sumi-Is. These are rare creatures that you can do art of at certain times of day in certain seasons in certain areas. It's kind of cool feature. I'm just glad I decided to start doing it now because if I didn't, having to wait the full 10-hour season cycle would really suck. But luckily, I had other side content to do while doing these along with it. I would then do my second legendary Sumi-E. This one isn't season specific. Then in winter, I would get my 3rd legendary Sumi-E. I've also, in between each of these, done a whole lot of side targets to unlock certain upgrades that I'll need for certain trophies later, but these Sumi-Es are the only really important thing, so that's why I'm cutting between them. Taking a break from Sumi-Es, we get the In Case of Trouble trophy for fully upgrading our tools and ammunition. I thought by tools and ammunition we needed to fully upgrade the Teppo, the bow, and the tools category, but all we needed to do was do the stuff that affected the tools and the ammunition, not the entire weapon, which is cool. We then unlock the Samurai Stand ability, and then perform a finisher on an enemy with it for the Unstoppable trophy. I would then afflict this guy with both Poisoned and Dazed, and perform a finisher on him for the Overdesign 3 trophy. I would then complete the last contract I needed for the Would You Kindly trophy, which is for completing a contract in each region. It was now spring and I would get my 4th of 5 legendary Sumi-Es. After completing some side quests, I would have the ability to buy every upgrade under the samurai skill tree, and doing that would get me the Art of Kenjutsu trophy. I would then spend the next hour hunting down the remainder of the 22 Kujikiri side activities for the Zen Master trophy. I would then find the last of the legendary Sumi'is for the A Rare Occurrence trophy. Then, after assassinating a couple more side targets, I had every ability in the Shinobi tree unlocked, and purchasing the last one got me the Art of Ninjutsu trophy. I would then scale to the top of the highest mountain in the game to get the Platinum trophy.
And I think where we're going, we don't need horse. You just have to climb. Come on, you can do this. Do the parkour. There you go. And here we are. Happy place. Reach the highest point on the map and Assassin's Creed copyright Shadows. Unlock every trophy. Nice. Oh, and a new milestone reached. Level 290 trophy level. And look at this. Highest point on the map.
And after 193 voiceovers, I'd finally done this video and gotten the Assassin's Creed Shadows Platinum Trophy. I got this one day before my birthday on April 4th, 2025. This video just took a lot of time to make because halfway through the production, I got really sick and my voice, I didn't feel like I could record voiceovers, and I held it off for a month. What you're seeing in the back here is a random fight with 20 Ronin I wanted to include in the video, but I just couldn't find a way to fit it in, so here it is now. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop it a like, it helps out a ton. And if you want to see more trophy hunting content, subscribe to the channel. And this entire 60-hour experience, 55 technically, that's what the in-game tracker says, was streamed live on our Twitch, which can also be found down in the description. Goodbye. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.